and we're recording. So we just saw the trailer. I am lucky because I got to see the full short film of Casanova. And I know for sure that if this were in a theater, if we'd been able to show your film in the theater like a normal year, the first question from the audience, or maybe from me, would have been, is this like a pilot? Are you just setting up? Because this character is so compelling and so appealing. And
Thank you.
so we're allowed to curse. She's just so fucking cool that it does feel like you're just setting her up for greatness.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm so glad you feel that way about her, because I feel that way about her too. Yeah, so this started as I went to UCLA film school. I did my MFA there, and it started as a school assignment essentially. It was come up with a concept for a TV series, and so we were supposed to shoot a little teaser, a couple minutes, and I was like, no, I think I'm gonna make a 14-minute short film and use the school's resources. So it became that, but it always was conceptualized as a TV series. So the short film is, yes, it is the pilot episode of the series, and I actually optioned it. So the script and the whole concept's been optioned by a production company, and I've been pitching it as a TV series. We've done 3 Zoom pitches so far, which is very interesting. Yeah, so it's very much in development, and we're pitching it, and we're hoping to sell it. So.
And so you got your MFA in the director's program, or?
Producing, actually. Producing, yeah.
So,
but I was a writer and actor before that, and
clearly this is not your first time acting.
No, it's not. I actually was a actor before writing and producing. So I had an agent in Toronto. I'm Canadian, so I was living in Toronto. Had an acting agent, was auditioning a whole lot more than I was working. And that's sort of what compelled me to apply to grad film school, because I was like, okay, I'm really sick of going to dumb commercial auditions where I have to humiliate myself in various ways. And I really would I know that I can do this myself and I can make things myself. So that's kind of my frustration with auditioning is sort of what spurred me into wanting to go to film school.
And then coming through the producer's program, you already just had the ambition to be like, well, if I'm going to bother to make something, you were definitely thinking more long term.
Yeah. And I also knew that I wanted to wear all the different hats too. I used to write short form comedy stuff back before I kind of got down to LA and everything. But I knew that it was I knew I want to act, I want to write, I want to produce, I want to direct. And, there's a lot of, you get pushback from professors in film school, because they're like, well, I think you should focus on one thing. And I'm, glad I didn't listen.
Although please let your director know, kudos for her as well.
Absolutely, I will.
It's so well directed, and the look is great. So as the writer and producer, and you knew from start to finish you were going to be the lead performer, what did you look for in a director? Was it someone you had a rapport with, or did you look at tapes?
Yes. So Marie Richardson, the director, is someone that I met at film school. So she was in the directing program, and we collaborated on another project. I produced her first film that she did in film school, which is part of the sort of the curriculum. You are paired with the director and you do that. But then this was really, I had the vision of it. I knew what I wanted it to be. And I wanted to find an ally, that got it and dug it as much as I did. And was, cause it's it's a little bit harder as a director, I think, to come on when it's this person has such a clear vision of what they want to do. But Marie was so amazing at facilitating that and believing it and co-signing it. And I think she really gave me the confidence when she was like, oh no, this is great, I want to do this, to be like, okay, so I've got something here. And then of course she brought so much to it that I wouldn't have been able to. And the look of it, the feel of it, all of that, she, obviously elevated it so much more than what it would have been if I had tried to do it all myself. So. Right.
And spared you the trouble of possibly compromising your performance by thinking too much about your director's role, which,
Absolutely. And she just, it was, to me, it was like, what was so great about it was she believed in it as much as I did. And that was kind of, well, that's what the decision making for me, it was like, oh, this person really, really digs this and believes in it as much as I do and is excited about it. So this is clearly the right fit.
Yeah, because I mean, this is very, in many ways, this is a performance piece. I mean, by the way, I love the way you wrote it and with that title, because in that first scene, you got the audience thinking that the dude is going to be Casanova, right? Because we've all been taught that for so long. And when you flip the
Yeah.
script on that, it's really just so rewarding. I just really enjoy that. But it's like a tour de force for you from start to finish, especially, how was it just, was it as fun to write the story of her kicking ass with an algorithm? I
Yeah.
mean, of
Thank
all of
you.
all the victories to give your female lead, it's just so, viscerally rewarding in a
Thank
new,
you.
less sexist, or at least we're aware of sexism. It's still very much woven into our culture, but to see
Totally.
her look at those guys, I mean, they're put down about the back end. No, we mean the back. Whatever. What can you do?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's funny. That scene, thank you, by the way, those for your kind words. I'm so happy you feel that way. But the scene with that moment where which I think is the biggest victory for her in the film is, just kind of her partner Nav, who's an incredibly intelligent and capable woman herself. She's just not good under pressure. She's kind of struggling in that pitch, and she's like kind of, as soon as the tech stops working, she's kind of thrown off her game. And Cassie's hungover and she's irresponsible and she barely makes it to the meeting, but like in those moments of pressure, she performs. So it was funny that the day we shot that, I didn't initially write that I would have her writing the algorithm on the board. That wasn't in the script. I don't even remember what it was, but we didn't visually see it. And then the day we were shooting, we were in this conference room that had a whiteboard, and I just went to Marie and I was like, can we add a couple shots? I have this idea. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm going to call my buddy. One of my best friends forever is a computer programmer. And I called him and and I'm like, hey, can you write me an algorithm that's acceptable, that if someone who can code watches this, they're not like, what's this, nonsense? And he's like, okay, well, what do you want the algorithm to do? And I'm like, I don't care. I just want it to just be a legit algorithm. So he, like, within like 45 minutes, wrote me this algorithm, sent it to me. I like memorized it so that I could look like I was writing it. And we added the shots. And so we made it happen. So it's amazing how that can happen. It's like one of those like set magic things where it's like, I didn't even, I couldn't have conceived of that scene until we were like in the room and saw it. And that's like one of my favorite moments. So it's funny how the writing process can be so different from being on set and kind of, rolling with the improvisation that can happen there.
Yeah, I mean, it's besides one of the best moments. I mean, it's practically the climax in a lot of ways.
Yeah, totally.
It's her victory.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, as someone with a kid, it's like you're showing that, not giving a fuck is maybe her partner gives so many fucks that she gets
Totally.
10. Whereas,
Right.
yeah, your character is like, doesn't give a fuck and she can kick ass. It's kind of, they're
yin yang, the two of them.
Yeah, you've set up a nice dynamic for them to move forward. So
Totally.
you're pitching this, so you have like a whole season or 3 mapped out?
Yeah, I've got the whole first season mapped out, and then kind of like vaguely what would happen in further seasons. A Bible. So I'm Canadian. I optioned it to, it's a company that's in Canada and the US. So we've been pitching to all the Canadian networks because, it's just, we were trying to use the edge that I'm Canadian. They give you a lot of money from the government. There's just a lot of benefits to making things in Canada. And then, we've kind of called it the Schitt's Creek approach. So like, if we could sell it in Canada, get it made in Canada, then take it down here, that would be kind of the dream.
Sure. Great stuff. I'm a big fan of Baroness von Sketch.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I pitched to the executive who oversees that like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a show that matches with you,
Totally.
kick-ass comedians.
Yeah. So we pitched to them. We pitched to a couple of the other Canadian buyers, and so we'll see. And then depending on how that goes, we'll start pitching it down here too.
Sounds like you're very busy.
Yeah, it's good. It's especially like in this time, I'm like very thankful that I have this going on to kind of like keep me busy and not staying up till 4
For
a.m.
sure. I
and
mean, I
sleeping all
would have
day.
thought that this would have been fantastic for a reel too. I mean, this alone would like be great for you on that, but a tiny virus has shut the entire industry down for a little while. So
Right. Unfortunately, yeah. But yes, I'm working on all of that, and it's kind of it's in the works. And kind of just like rolling with the industry as it is right now. But luckily, pitches can still happen on Zoom, which is a little strange. I've never done a professional pitch in person. I've only now done them on Zoom. So it'll be interesting when I do actually have to go into an office and pitch. I won't, it
you'll
won't
be
be
like,
my
okay,
norm,
I'm
but
not used to seeing you.
I'm not used to making eye contact. It's kind of sometimes it's hard if there's multiple people on a Zoom. You're like, who do I look at? So, but yeah, no, it's been great. I've been thankful that people have been seeing it as a very viable show that they think that we're going to sell. So it's been great.
Excellent. Well, as promised, I have some questions from the audience of our awards jury.
Awesome.
This is actually from a producer. She's produced a lot of films. She said, "I like that this was set in a tech world, which we don't see very often in film, especially from the female perspective. Where was your inspiration to come up with that?"
Yeah, so in between my undergrad in Toronto and coming down here for my grad degree, I actually worked in tech for a couple of years doing like sales and marketing and various things. So that's firsthand. I worked for an app, and then I worked for a company that was bought by Shutterstock. So I worked at two different startups in varying stages. And yeah, I had a lot of strange experiences. I'll give you one quick story. I worked on this project. My whole team was male, and the team from this other company we worked with was all male. I remember after we worked with them, we were kind of like, thanks so much, thank you. And my male colleagues shook hands with, the guy from the other company and shook hands. And then I get up to him and I extend my hand, and he like pulls his hand away and he waves. And I was like, what? Why did you shake their hands and not my hand? And he was like, oh, you want to shake hands too? Oh, so formal. Okay. It was just like, what? Like, where did you want me to put my hand out so that I can and like curtsy? Were you gonna, bend down and kiss my hand? It was very strange. So like that was one of many like strange moments where it was just like, oh, there's a real disconnect here. And that's even worse for female programmers. Like, I'm not a computer programmer. I was working in sales and marketing, but it's like I think there's even more of a kind of like you're taken less seriously
It's
if
so
you're
well documented.
a female programmer.
The
Yeah,
female programmers, and they get prevented from promotion because
totally.
they're left out of all kinds of networking. Yeah, it's no wonder did you come up with, as you were writing, did you come up with her promiscuity first or her career?
Yeah, no, the promiscuity came first, and I mean the title kind of says it all. So that's based on a lot of my own experiences as I consider myself kind of semi-retired Casanova these days. But in my early and mid 20s, yeah, that's a lot of that is like based on my experience and not really understanding what was weird about that, because if like men do it, like why is there even a disconnect? And obviously the naming it Casanova is because, well, what's the word that women are usually called? Slut. And there's a reason that that's like nowhere to be found in the film, and it wouldn't be in the show either, because it's just like a radical statement, I guess, of like when someone watches that, I don't want them to think for a second like, oh, like why is she doing that? Is she, does she have daddy issues? Is she, like is she a train wreck? Like, because that's usually how we see promiscuous women portrayed in film and TV. It's like, oh, she's a train wreck. She just needs to meet a nice guy like Bill Hader and settle down, like every Judd Apatow movie. Like, it's like that's not the case for a lot of people. So Yeah,
No,
that was from my
and
own kind of like,
Casanova, and the term Casanova has positive connotations because it's
exactly,
always positive for a man to have conquests.
totally.
So you
So
made
why
that,
isn't it
you're making
positive?
that term gender neutral.
Yeah, and I was always like, why? I love having conquest. You know, it was like always like a fun, topic of conversation between me and my friends. Like the list is real. I will say the list is real. Yeah, that's something taken right from my life, and it was always just like such a fun thing, and it is always such a fun thing to like, my friends were like, well, what's the story behind this one, and what's the story behind that one, and it always brought me a lot of joy, and it was, and fun, and it was never, that phase of my life I didn't feel shameful about. And so I was just like, why should anyone? So yeah, that's why it's called Casanova and not, something else.
Yeah. And I fully appreciate the way you introduce her and the way she I mean, I can't help but think negatively about that character in the beginning, the guy, because
The
the way
guy.
he expects the wall of Emmys to, you know,
Yes.
wow her. But I just love when her dismissal of him is, look, I'm just gonna drunk text you for a booty call next weekend. If she,
Yeah, like maybe if I feel like it.
it's a wonderful dismissal of him and his efforts to try to be charming and powerful and controlling.
Right, and because it's for a guy like that who's like, has money and success and is older, like he's just baffled that this young hot mess of a girl is not completely wowed by his place and everything else. And it's like she has a 9 a.m. meeting. Like he thinks she's just, a total mess. And she's like, no, I'm the CTO of my own company. And I love how he totally like like just like dismisses that too, and is just like,
Yeah,
well, then okay,
yeah.
whatever.
She had
But
told
then
him
we
the
see
night
him come back
before,
at the end, of course.
and he doesn't even
Sorry, go
remember.
ahead.
He remembers her name, but he doesn't
Right,
remember her job.
because it probably didn't even register. Like he's probably like, oh, it's probably some little tiny thing. Like she's,
Yeah,
like this young 20 something. There's no way that she is a serious person.
yeah.
And she is she is a serious person. She's a genius. She's literally a genius, and she's also wild and authentically herself, and and free when it comes to sex, and those things are not mutually exclusive.
I assume this was a ton of fun for you, in spite of how much work it must have been.
Yes, it
Playing
was.
that
Yeah.
character must have been just like being on the playground.
Yes, it was super fun, and yeah, it was like in some ways like an exaggeration of certain parts of my own personality, and with that I kind of got to just totally go wild. And she's also very, very different from me in other ways, so it was a fun challenge. And a lot of the people, actually most of the people in it are my friends, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, it looked like you were having fun, so that's probably why it's so much fun to watch.
Good.
All right, well, is there anything? We actually have already used up like 20 minutes. So, is there anything you want to add at the end here before we go?
um Just thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just thank you for selecting the film, and you guys have been so complimentary, and I appreciate that so much, and I'm just so glad that you had as much fun watching it as I as was
The
infused
only
into
bummer,
making it.
yeah, the only bummer for me is that of all the genres to be in the theater for, comedy, when you have
Yeah,
40, 50, 60 people sitting there laughing out loud, comedy is so great to share. And
I would have loved that so
yours
much.
works
Yeah,
great online, and it'll work great on TV, knock on wood.
thank you.
But yeah, for a live audience to be able, that many people to laugh together at
I know.
you
I
did
did
so,
have a
so great.
screening actually last year, for like, select like friends and family and whatnot. It was about 40 people, and it was very, very cool to hear people laughing that hard.
I
Because
bet.
even though like I know it's funny, and I know that I know that like I think it's funny, but it's really cool when a bunch of other people are laughing that hard. And also at parts that you don't think are that funny. Like there's moments where I'm like, well, that's not really a funny moment, and people laugh really hard at that, and you're like, okay.
That was going to be
So
my final question was, when you had that live screening, were there any moments that surprised you when they laughed? You don't have to remember. It's probably a while ago, but
Let me think for a second. I think it's like I can't think of anything specific off the top of my head, but like little moments, like, you know, cuts to a look on someone's face, like whether it's like reality TV daddy at the beginning and sort of just like his like dismay and confusion at Cassie's behavior, and like the smaller moments like that people really that I didn't even really think of as being a moment, but yeah, were kind of accidentally really funny is really cool to see. And people respond to different things too, which is awesome. And then, you know, sometimes you think you wrote the funniest shit ever, and then people don't laugh that hard at it. Like, you just really never know.
that's what makes comedy so hard. It's funny on the page, and it can be funny on the set, and then you're in the editing room and you're like, huh, what do you know? But this one worked.
Yeah, totally.
All right, well, I do have to run, but I was just going to say I thought of a close, which is it's nice to see the tradition of somehow Canadians always are doing great comedy. So
thank you so much. That's very nice.
Light my mental candle that Casanova is going to be one of those CBC shows that ends up on cable here and has an
I sure hope so. Thank you. Well, thank you.
I think you froze
so much
there.
To everyone at Film Invasion. It's been a pleasure working with you guys and selected. Oh, I think you froze. Shoot.
Yeah, but that's all right. We kind of made it through. All right. Well, I'm gonna run. Am I still frozen?
You froze for a second there, but I think you're back. Okay. Thank you so much for everything. This was so great, and yeah, I'm so glad you liked the film.
Right. Thank you. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.